Hello and welcome back to the Dog Food Expert podcast. I'm Alex. Now, Daniel, today we are taking a slightly different angle. We usually talk about physical health, digestion, allergies, teeth, but today we're talking about behaviour. So many owners struggle with dogs that are hyperactive, anxious, or just cannot seem to focus during training. We usually blame a lack of exercise, but can food actually affect a dog's mood?
Hi Alex, absolutely 100%. The connection between what a dog eats and how they behave is massive, yet it's incredibly overlooked. If you have a dog that is bouncing off the walls, easily spooked, or unable to settle down in the evening, the very first thing you need to look at is the carbohydrate content of their daily meals.
Carbohydrates? I thought carbs just gave them energy. How does that translate to bad behaviour?
It comes down to how that energy is released. To understand this, we have to look at standard, extruded, dry kibble. In order to make kibble stick together in those little biscuit shapes, manufacturers have to use a huge amount of starch. Ingredients like wheat, maize, potatoes or peas. Many commercial kibbles are actually upwards of 40 to 50% carbohydrates.
That sounds like a lot. Dogs are carnivores. Surely they don't need that much starch.
They don't need it at all. It's there because it's cheap and it binds the biscuit. But here is the behavioural problem. High-glycemic carbohydrates break down in the dog's body into glucose, sugar.
Oh, wow. So feeding a high-carb kibble is basically like feeding them a bowl of sugar.
Exactly. Imagine giving a human toddler a massive bag of sweets and a can of fizzy drink and then asking them to sit quietly and read a book. They can't do it. They get a massive blood sugar spike, they become hyperactive and erratic, and then an hour later, they crash. When dogs experience that blood sugar crash, it often manifests as irritability, grumpiness, or anxiety.
That makes so much sense. I see dogs all the time that have these wild zoomies after breakfast and then get really snappy later on. So how do we stop the rollercoaster?
You have to stabilise their blood sugar. And the best way to do that is to feed a diet that is high in quality protein and very low in carbohydrates. This is where fresh, natural diets change the game. A proper raw diet contains virtually zero complex carbohydrates.
So by switching away from high-carb kibble, you just cut off that sugar supply entirely.
Precisely. When a dog gets their energy from high-quality animal protein and natural fats instead of cheap carbs, the energy release is slow, steady, and sustained throughout the day. There are no massive spikes and no cranky crashes.
Are there other components in raw meat that actually help calm the brain?
Yes, there's a direct biological benefit. High-quality meat is rich in an amino acid called tryptophan. Tryptophan is the building block for serotonin, which is the happy hormone that regulates mood, sleep, and calmness in the brain. If a dog is eating a diet mostly made of corn and wheat, they aren't getting enough bioavailable tryptophan to regulate their anxiety.
What if someone really needs to feed a dry food but has a hyper dog? Can they avoid the sugar spikes?
Yes, look for a premium, cold-pressed dog food. Because it's pressed gently and doesn't need to be puffed up with steam, it doesn't require those massive amounts of high glycemic starches to hold it together. It's a much lower carb, calmer option than standard kibble.
So, if you're pulling your hair out with a hyperactive or anxious dog, before you buy expensive calming plugins or blame your training skills, check the carb content of their food.
Exactly. Feed their biology, stabilise their blood sugar, and watch their true, calm personality come through.
Fascinating stuff, Daniel. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Alex.
And thanks for listening, everyone. Here's to calmer, happier dogs.